Wait, that's happening now? West Virginia Wire. Regina reacts. Wait, that's happening now? West Virginia Wire. Regina reacts.
All right, I've been muted out the whole time. It's probably good. All right, guys, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. Thank you for joining. I wasn't planning on going live. I feel like the last few lives I've said that. I generally like to plan it out. I am a control freak in that regard. So today, if you could see the banner floating across the screen today on West Virginia Wire, we're diving into the madness with Candace Owens. Claims she's personally blocking global peace between Ukraine and Russia because France supposedly told the White House, yes, this is all true stuff, they won't move forward until she shuts up. Yes, really. All right, let me check my sound on everywhere else. You guys, please start throwing your comments. Let's feed this algorithm. And, you know, maybe some people will come to the table. I know it's like dropping a bucket in the sea, but I would love to have a conversation with Miss Owens. Y'all, we're going way back in time. Apparently, Miss Owens thinks that, you know, there's bans of journalists. She won the election because of her heavy influence. And I'm not discounting that. I just say you're diminishing every single one of the over 80 million people that voted the president into office. So what are you really saying, Miss Candace Owens? I'd like to know. I got a little scripture to read that mentions Candace, Queen Candace, the Ethiopian queen. What kind of queen do you want to be, Miss Owens? And Mr. Musk, stand by. I got something for you too, sir. Hang tight. That's my good friend, Mixed Texan Report. You guys go check him out on YouTube. I'll make sure I get that up on the screen before this live is out. You guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for all the support. It's only because of y'all that we can grow and overcome this. And let's remember what YouTube is. YouTube, right? Not Candace Tube, not Musk Tube. It's YouTube. All right, guys. So it is that time. Let's get started. Let's get started. Let me kill this music in the background.
To the rivers wide, tune in, it's time to take the ride. Regina's voice, it's your guide. West Virginia's heart, it's right inside. West Virginia Wire, hear the news. Politics and stories, what's shaping you?
What's shaping you? Here we go, West Texan meets West North Carolinian, and then we move to West Virginia, baby. Almost heaven, wild and wonderful. That's us. Let's hear you speak. Come on, start speaking. Let's fill this comment section up. If you support Candace, let us know. Let us know why. And, you know, I supported her. I don't know what she's doing now. All right, let's get started, guys. Let's do it. I gotta find this to take it down. Stop. Oh, it's the music. Duh. A lot to keep up with, y'all. All right, here we go. Let's do that. Wrong button, y'all. Forgive me. All right, here we go.
Imagine being married to me. My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like,
Oh, I got to do this again. Well, let's play it over again. It's coming out of her own mouth now. I just want y'all to know that.
imagine being married to me. My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like, what are you reading? And I feel a couple of weeks ago, I received a letter that changed my life, certainly changed the course of my life in politics. I will say it is not my style, but I have been keeping a major secret from you all. And I was admittedly bursting at the seams because it is without question the craziest thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life, certainly at least in my political life, bar none. Good one. Well worth the wait. Just crazy, because I'm going to take you guys to church today. My poor PR guy, he wakes up in the morning, he's got tons of text messages from journalists asking for clarity. Is it true? Did Candace say this? How could she say this? And everybody knows what's happening. They're watching the show, journalists, every minute of the show, and they're looking for just a 4-second clip that they can take out of context and spin it and send it around to all of their journalist friends. And we have a cell of Zionist media. We have people that are working to further the interests of Israel, and that is why they keep taking me out of context. But I literally don't care. I just, and everybody knows what's happening. They're watching the show, journalists, every minute of the show, and they're looking for just a 4-second clip that they can take out of context and spin it. But I literally don't care. I just hope they understand that I'm built different.
Don't care. Built different. Don't care.
I really do love that clip of Andrew Tate, but it is.
Don't care. Built different. Don't care.
I really do love that clip of Andrew Tate, but it is very true. I just know.
Well, there you go, guys. You heard it straight from the good Candace Owens' own mouth. She does not care. She supports people like, the Tate brothers and all of that. And I don't know what that speaks to you. I do know that they were involved with OnlyFans page and all of that. And she did go after a lot of the women that had OnlyFans accounts. So why are you just going after women, right? She did even make a statement. So I do want to set up, you guys, my name is Regina Connell. Welcome to West Virginia Wire. Thanks for joining this impromptu live session. Yes, I am planning a panel for July 20th and August 1st. Those are significant dates that I found, and the July 20th was the moon landing. And whether you believe it actually happened or not, it's still celebrated as a huge milestone for American and world history. So with that said, we're going to talk about Mr. Elon Musk. And once again, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are in the ring again. And then we've got Candace Owens saying, man, I'm not sure what she's saying. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a trip back in time. And so I'm going to bring Mary Beth up on the stage, which is my AI co-host. And she's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be discussing because, I did do about 3 hours of research, some work to get this done. It is just me, myself, and my husband and the good Lord Jesus. And yes, Candace, Christ is King and Jesus is Lord. So before we get started, I wanted to read a little snippet because, I had made some bold statements and I'll show them to you on the X platform. I don't mind it. But, she keeps saying Christ is King. And I can't remember what content creator kind of pointed that out. And yes, we know Christ is King. Remember, though, when he was hung on the cross, what did they label him as? Rex, King. They were mocking him. So now let's talk about the word Christian, right? And when we read in the Holy Bible in the book of Acts, and I do have to re-find it. I do have the whole New Testament up on my YouTube channel. My husband and I, he joined in the fray. We did the book of Revelation, and we've recently started the Old Testament, and we included the non-canonical book of Enoch. So with that said, pretty soon we're going to be dipping back into it, getting into the canonical Christian Holy Bible, and then we're going to be entering the flood. So with that said, Candace Owens made a statement, several statements that I'm hugely questioning. So I don't want to say what she said because I heard it. I want you to hear it out of your own mouth. I don't know how long this live is going to go, and we'll see where it takes us. You guys, please keep commenting. Please keep sharing out if this means anything to you. And I do want to do a huge shout out to Sean Parrish. He has really been bringing awareness, and he's been hugely attacked for this. We call we call it how we see it, right? You can accuse people of being a paid up. You can accuse them, you took sponsorship. Now you're working with a bigger creator. Anybody who tells you that, they're just jealous. Remember that. They are just jealous. Now, back to Candace Owens. What is going on with you, girl? And I did get a little petty with you, so let me apologize because that was beneath me when I talked about your grandma clothes. So, I'm hearing, my 8-year-old's clothes. So if it fits, it fits. Let's keep going. in the book of Acts, chapter 8, and this is just before the conversion of Saul, from Saul to Paul. And I'm not going to make this a Bible study, you guys, because it happened in date order, not from cover to cover. So, this isn't what this is about. Yet at the same time, when I hear someone continuously saying, and she did say it, I will find it, where she said, "Oh, I wish I could get this girl in a room with my husband and have him explain the Bible to her." Why would you ever make a statement like that? And it tells us in the Bible even that women are supposed to seek guidance from elder women. You are on full on attack, Miss Owens, on other women. Why? And I really started when you started supporting Alex Jones. Alex Jones, you did a fundraiser for, man, let me not get distracted. So in the book of Acts, chapter 8, right? And I'm going to start at verse 11. And to him they had regard, because that of long time he had bewitched them with sorceries. But when they believed Philip preaching the things concerning the kingdom of God, they were baptized, both men and women. Then Simon himself believed also. And when he was baptized, he continued with Philip and wondered, beholding the miracles and signs which were done. So they're all, they went out in the mighty name, of Jesus. Jesus sent them out. We know this from the Gospels. So let's skip on ahead, because this is giving context as to what's going on around them. And it is important. We need to know what was going on in the physical world historically around them. And I will say Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard do a fantastic job with the book Killing Jesus. They also did Killing Lincoln and Killing Kennedy. So Killing Kennedy was the end of Camelot, Jesus, a history. So it's not about Jesus, the Messiah. It's about Jesus of Nazareth. So let's continue on. So we're going to skip down to verse 25 in chapter 8 of the book of Acts. And the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip, saying, Arise and go toward the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert. And he arose and went. And behold, a man of Ethiopian eunuch, of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians. Now, the first thing that stands out to me is eunuch. Her eunuch is serving her. So I don't know what that speaks to y'all. Y'all can go read the rest of it for yourself. Do you have a bunch of eunuchs serving you, Candace? That's all I want to know. All right, let's continue on. All right, so the first thing I want to go to is Mary Beth. Mary Beth, sum up what I just said and what we've talked about and what we're going to cover today.
To some of the statements Candace Owens has made, especially around her repeated use of the phrase Christ is King. You're also drawing some connections to the Bible, the book of Acts, and some of your own reflections on what it means to be.
Yeah, but do you remember what we talked about earlier? We just printed off our talking points, opening, we are raw, off cuff. I did do a little guideline so I wouldn't lose track and I wouldn't be boring you, hopefully. Off the cuff discussion, talking, taking viewers back in time to my initial impressions of Candace Owens. And she was the whole reason I started a podcast, right? I was that inspired by her because she was speaking truth on the things that she was speaking. I don't know what all this is, right? And the more I think about it, you claim to be for America, for Americans, yet I see you in every other country but America, defending anything else but America. What are you talking about, Candace? And, she's in league with Patrick Bet David. They've got that Menectac application so you can personally talk. And she says it in several of her content that's where she gets all these secret anonymous tips is through the Menectac. And my only question would be, is that you're advertising for the Menectac? Are you really getting all this stuff from the Menectac? So here's my challenge to y'all. If you are using the Menectac, MINNECT, Patrick Bet David, Valuetainment, all of that. And, hey, you've had positive experiences. Hey, man, let me know. Put it in the chat. Oh, we got another comment. I'm trying to stay on top of it, y'all. Hey, Jason, thanks for coming through.
I love how you're
Thank
keeping
you,
it.
Jason. Thank you. Jason from Dear Woke Christian just slid through, and his comment is, wait, what? This Little is wild. Grace and peace. It is wild. It is completely wild. It is completely wild. And I am making bold statements. They need to be made. And it's like dropping a bucket in the sea. From the beginning of time with Candace's career, I followed her on all platforms. I signed up for things under her. And there was another content creator that I did. I'm not going to bring him up. I'm just saying these are things that I've noticed. And people in the community do talk about it, right? We do talk about it and we notice things. And then we say, no, I love this person. I'm going to overlook it. How much can we overlook? You do have an extreme amount of influence. And did you help the cause to get the president elected? Yes, I feel like you did. We all did. We cannot diminish one person because this is crazy. This is madness. It's ludicrousy, right? We are supposed to be the last, not the first, when we talk in the name of Jesus. So I don't know what that speaks to you, but let's continue on. So the first thing that really got me was, I told you about Alex Jones, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But when I saw her interview with the USS Liberty ship crew, so everything you saw in the intro, we're going to watch some video because I didn't just cherry pick. I actually watched that whole video. I watched the whole live interview. I was in the comment section and then I started noticing that comments weren't showing up. Like, it was crazy, but I didn't screenshot. These are allegations, so I don't want to go any further with it. But if you've experienced anything like that, let us know. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to my downloads and we're going to look at this interview. We're not going to, of course, watch the whole thing because I'm going to put the link in there. And yes, go check it out for yourself. So, but at the end of the video, right, I'm going to let you get a little context around it because I did use this video in my opener. So, Marybeth, I'm going to take you off the stage. Tell everybody thank you for listening and you'll be back with us maybe.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for listening and joining in on this conversation. It's definitely a lively and intriguing topic, and it's always great to see everyone's thoughts and experiences. I'll step aside for a moment, but I'll be right here if you need me again.
All righty. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So like I said, the first video that we're going to go to, and this was from, well, this is December 11th, 2024. So it's a little over 6 months ago. I'm going to let her do her intro and let her tell you her beliefs as to what happened to the USS Liberty. I don't know. I haven't done any research. It sounded plausible to me. And then it was the relentless Israel this. What about America? Let's talk about America. I mean, we created all this unity and now we have nothing but division again. And that goes for you too, Mr. Musk and President Trump. Both of you stop this madness, please. All right, let's continue on. This is about Candace right now. Lord have mercy.
You guys, I'll get right into this.
Thank
a couple
you.
of weeks ago, I received a letter that changed my life, certainly changed the course of my life in politics. And I'm going to read you that letter now and let you know that the author of it is sitting across from me.
Here we go.
It reads, "My name is Philip Turney. I am 77 years old today. On June 8th, 1967, I was just 20 years old when the gallant crew of the USS Liberty was savagely attacked. Our American flag was proudly flying on our ship in the Mediterranean Sea that day. The designation AGTR-5 was clearly painted on the bow, port, and starboard sides. USS Liberty was written in English on her stern. When we arrived on June 7th, we were overflown by Israeli reconnaissance aircraft, and the same activity was repeated on the morning of June 8th. We were positively identified as American and friendly by the IDF. We had requested a destroyer escort long before we entered the Mediterranean, but we were denied twice. Our captain assured us that we were clearly marked as American.
And I would like to preface this with, this was an amazing interview. It was a completely amazing interview. I'm not taking that away from her. What did it was the end of the interview. And like I said, I'm not going to force you to sit through all this. You guys, I will put the link in the chat while this plays a little bit, just to give you a little context, and then we're going to skip forward. And then I want to get your viewpoints on when someone does this, right? And we were talking about the Bible. Let's, those of us that are familiar with the Bible, when we hear the word Pharisee, what do we think of as relative to the New Testament? And believe it happened in the Old Testament too, right? So let's keep going.
American, and we therefore had nothing to fear. We were alone, 12.5 miles off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula, always in international waters. The Israeli reconnaissance aircraft were clearly marked with the Star of David. We therefore felt secure, seeing a flying boxcar and other smaller recon propeller aircraft taking good care of us. The attack began at 2 o'clock on a beautiful, bright, sunny day by French-made Mirage and Mistral jets painted black with no markings. We had no clue who was attacking us, but assumed it was an Arab state. During the first pass-by, the jets took out all but one of our transmitting antennas, as well as every watertight door above the waterline.
Okay, so she goes on in the interview. This is her setting it up, reading the letter that she received. I don't know how she received it. I don't know if the man directly emailed it to her. I've yet to find an email where I can directly. Now, I guess to communicate with her, you've got to subscribe to whatever website. Now she's got a book reading club. I mean, dang, you can't have the whole world, Agamemnon. But anyway, you could try. You could try. So let's continue on. And so she goes into the interview with the gentleman and they talk for a while. And thank you for your service, sir. And it is a brave thing to come forward with information that was not previously known. Did this happen? It could have. It absolutely could have. We hear cases of friendly fire all the time. I do know people in the military. My father himself served in the U.S. Navy for almost 30 years. He would be upset with Miss Owens at this. He would be very upset with you. He would call you a stupid woman. And I can't blame him. So let's listen in on the interview just a little bit. I don't know where it's going to pick up. And then we're going to go to the very end where she gives a very benevolent donation.
You any information, or they're just saying it's an emergency, everybody get back in?
Everybody get back in, and we headed to road to Spain. We picked up 3 Marines. They were linguists, and a civilian, Alan Blue. He was he was killed, by the way. He was another linguist, but he worked directly for the NSA.
Okay. So he gets on board. You're in Spain now, and then where do you go?
We head into the Mediterranean.
Okay, so they're taking you back in time to, because I did watch this full interview. Yes, I did. I certainly did. It's been a long time ago, and with my age and everything, I'd have to watch it again, but I really don't want to, because what we're here to talk about is the very end, right? So the man is regaling the story of what happened on the USS Liberty, how he came to the information, and his beliefs that it was a targeted, intentional strike from Israel after the United States had identified, hey, we are allies, we are friendlies, do not fire, yada, yada, yada. So the interview continues on. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
How that conscious switch of, wait a second, this is not my friend, I'm being betrayed.
We thought you were our friend,
Well, I
Candace.
think Jesus Christ would know a lot about betrayal, and we were betrayed. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm here, is because Jesus Christ didn't want us to die that day. He wanted us. Well, I'll put it this way. God saved us from God's chosen people. That's what he did. Exactly what he did. We put over 3 life rafts. That's all we had left. They shot all.
Have we learned nothing? Have we truly read our Bible? What does your relationship look like with Jesus Christ? I can't tell that for you. I can only share my experience.
They're calling us liars, Nazis, and Jew haters, our own Congress. I'd like to, I tell you what, I'd like to call out Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro with this conspiracy theory stuff. If you think it's a conspiracy, debate me live on TV. I'd be glad to debate you. And my shipmates will be there too if you want them. Debate us if you think it's a conspiracy theory.
Okay, so and I will tell you, it goes on. So he challenged Charlie Kirk, he challenged Ben Shapiro, and we know that after this point that Ben Shapiro or Candace had already parted from the Daily Wire. Now Ben Shapiro, I think he's a Looney Tune anyway, with some of the stuff he says, especially with him asking Trump to pardon the officer that took the life of George Floyd. Like, what are you even talking about? But I just say, hey, if it happened, he'd have to go to state prison, and state prison's got to be a lot worse than federal. I'm not sure. Maybe those things will change, and I hope that they do. There are snake officers. I'm not going to get into the George Floyd thing because I don't feel like it. That happened a long time ago, and there are other lives that need to be fought for right now. So I don't really know what these people honor. I don't know what they're propagating, what they actually stand on. And it seems to me that too many of them just jump from side to side so very easily. That's the biggest thing. So let's listen in just a little bit more.
During the 67 war, and Israel knew that and shot it. Again, I think the evidence is lacking on both of those things. And there have been multiple naval investigations of the USS Liberty incident. They all come.
And I will remind you, this is the same man who's asking Donald Trump to pardon the officer responsible for the death of George Floyd. So let's continue.
Down on the same side, which is that this is a mistaken case of allied, quote unquote, friendly fire.
Right.
Anyways, you guys, want to remind you about Hallow with that.
And I'm definitely not letting her get any of this in. So we're going to go to the very end, right? I hope it's got
America first and patriots and caring about our veterans. And I'm realizing now that so many of these people are cowards. They're cowards. They know the truth. They lie to people as they're coming up in this movie.
So here would be my only question, sir, in this interview, sir, do you stand by what Miss Owens invited other military members to do, that if they didn't agree with something, if they didn't want to go to war as a cohesive unit, if their country calls them to do it, no matter the circumstances, just go ahead and get dishonorably discharged? She did say it. She did say it. And I'm not going to play it again because it's all over the internet. And you guys, I'm not going to give her the view for it, and I'm not going to keep it going. Let's keep going.
Movement.
But we will go visit my X-Files. I've got some bookmarks in the X-Files, so thanks for hanging with me.
And they are completely occupied. There are some that are brave, obviously, Thomas Massie, but I do want to offer to you that for...
Hold on. Did she just say she's a Thomas Massie supporter? Whoa. I don't know who the man is, but he's been all the uproar lately, too. And we're going to talk about that, too. That's one thing we'll be looking at.
Speak to the public and tell them about our government and the Israeli government. As far as I'm concerned, Candace, they set us up. Israel were the hitmen, and our government paid them to hit us. And then when we didn't sink, they tell us that it was mistaken identity. Us, the survivors. And he says, we don't condone everything that Israel does, and the truth has got to be told. And the people...
USS Liberty is no longer here. You will have that donation.
God bless
There we
you.
go. There we go. Here it is. Here it is. The donation.
2 weeks ago, I was in a church.
The donation. Here comes the donation. Listen up. Look, I'm not hating on you for donating. It's just the lavish way. I mean, the only thing you left out in your donation speech was, I'm so godly and this man here is a sinner. Like, that's the only thing you left out. You kept all the rest of the hubris in it. So let's take a look and I'll let you judge for yourself. And look, hey, I'll consider anything. Let's just come to the table and talk about it.
A Zionist church. They had an Israeli flag and American flag hanging side by side. I was asked to speak there. Pastor Jason Neely. And he says, we don't condone everything that Israel does, and the truth has got to be told. And the people in the church were very receptive, and a lot of them were, weeping. Another good pastor, Pastor Chuck Baldwin out of Kalispell, Montana. He's on our side, and he doesn't teach. He teaches what's really in the Bible, not what they want you to believe.
Well, obviously, the Zionists funded the Schofield
Absolutely.
Bible. So
the Schofield Bible.
It's a whole nother episode that I've got to get into to teach people real history. Other than going to your website.
Oh my gosh,
and
did you
supporting
hear
is there
that?
anything else that we can do?
She's got to go do this to teach people real history. She has to teach us. She tells us every day she's got to teach us. Listen up. People tell what they are.
And that we can send our audience to.
Well, we need their hopes and their prayers.
You have them.
If they would go there and, like you said, donate, and your generous donation, my God, I'm almost
annually.
I almost fell on the floor.
I promise you will have that annually from my family. Even if we fall on hard times, we will pick up side jobs and we will make that donation.
Why would you even say that? Why would you even say that? Do you think that man wants to live with knowing that he's getting a donation if you fall on hard times? And guess what, Candace? You're about to fall on hard times. You already are. And I don't wish to see that on you. I do not. What are you? Stop this madness.
Every single year. And I
Montana, he's on our side, and he doesn't teach. He teaches what's really in the Bible, not what they want you to believe.
Well, obviously, the Zionists funded the Schofield Bible. So
the Schofield Bible.
It's a whole nother episode that I've got to get into to teach people real history. Other than going to your website and supporting you, is there anything else that we can do and that we can send our audience to?
Well, we need their hopes and their prayers. If they would go there and, like you said, donate, and your generous donation, my God, I'm almost
annually.
I almost fell on the floor.
I promise you, you will have that annually from my family. Even if we fall on hard times, we will pick up side jobs.
So as Christians, the first thing we should know, followers of the way, I'm not even sure about the Christian word anymore, for real. Too many labels have been attached additionally to, along with the Bible. So yes, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. We have to do our research. We must know. Candace, I don't think it's on you to teach the world completely, especially when you make lunatic statements like you're making right now and you create nothing but division. She's been promoting and propagating a book called Chaos. So several times I challenged her. I was like, hey, why haven't you read Son of Hemos? Why haven't you read this, Candace? Huh? You want everybody to read? I said, I'll read Chaos if you read this. Now she started a whole website where she wants everybody to go to that and join that book club. Then I saw TikTok videos. Let me show you. Let me just show you. Oh, we got another comment. I know, right? I can't see the emoji, man. Is that a brain blower? It is a brain blower, man. My brain is blown, completely blown. I mean, so let's listen to her again. We're going to listen to it 3 times. And you remember the scripture we read at the beginning about Queen Candace. Are you that kind of Queen, Candace?
Other episode that I've got to get into to teach people real history. Other than going to your website and supporting you, is there anything else that we can do and that we can send our audience to?
Well, we need their hopes and their prayers. If they would go there and, like you said, donate, and your generous donation, my God, I'm almost
annually.
I almost fell on the floor.
I promise you, you will have that annually from my family. Even if we fall on hard times, we will pick up side jobs and we will make that donation every single year. And until the last veteran of the USS Liberty is no longer here, you will have that donation.
God bless you. Just God bless you, Candace.
God bless you.
How can you possibly make a promise like that unless you've done it in one lump sum, my lady? How can you make a promise like that? How can we make a promise like that? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I mean, it could have went, hey, you're welcome, whatever. It was beautiful. I cried. I thought the interview was great. I was like, oh man, is this really happening? And now you've lost your credibility. You've completely lost your credibility with me, because I'm not even sure if I'm going to make it to the Elon Musk part. I'm trying, you guys. It's just, all this stuff is just really mind blowing. So we're going to get through the content that was at least in the intro, right? And I've got thumbnails made for days of content that I'm trying to get to for you guys. And yes, I have gone to the heavily edited simply because I love doing it. I love the B-roll. I love being able to throw the stock footage in there with the reactions and all of that. I've been partnering with different people and it's been a blast. So you guys stay tuned for more. There's a lot of stuff coming up. We can't tell you everything all at one time. So again, this is about Queen Candace. So Queen Candace, to catch a predator. Let's watch this one. This one's interesting. All right, you guys. You'll really like this one, I do believe, because this was also in the intro. So here we go. All right. And, I don't know, trigger warning, I guess.
All right, you guys, happy Thursday. I promise today we have a good one. Well worth the wait. Just crazy, because I'm going to take you guys to church today.
Woo! She's taking us to
church. We have got TikTok influencers and Instagram influencers and pastors that have received marching orders. You might have noticed that, a little uptick in content regarding not just Candace Owens, but Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, as if we work together or are coordinating together. Very strange. Plus, Trump tweeted or Truth Social.
So let me just stop you right there, my lady. So my first question would be, you and Piers Morgan went around in the ring for a while. Now you're buddy, right? Then you were fully supportive of Trump, and then George got his U.S. citizenship. I don't know. I'm just connecting dots of my own. Now I'm not as educated as you. Let's just see.
About Bibi Netanyahu last night, and I'm going to be frank, it's just weird.
It's just going to be frank.
Everybody agrees it's weird. Everybody across both sides of the aisle. We don't know.
So now she's using the term weird. I thought leftists use that term. You're just weird. You're weird. Did she just say that?
Candace Owens. But Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, as if we work together or are coordinating together. Very strange. Plus, Trump tweeted or Truth Socialed about Bibi Netanyahu last night. And I'm going to be frank, it's just weird. Everybody agrees it's weird. Everybody across both sides of the aisle. We don't know what's happening. Some people think he's playing 4D chess because it was that odd. I don't know. We're going to take a look at that tweet. And lastly, Lizzo has featured.
And listen, when you hear those big content creators, they call it out on the left. I'm going to call it out on the right. Every big content creator like this that talks about 4D chess, 4D chess, 4D chess. Do you even know how to play regular chess? Is my only question. You know, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Candace?
A line about me in her upcoming track. So, look, mommy, I made it. She knows what she's doing. Trump knows what he's doing because the entire world is a stage, my friends. Welcome back to Candace.
She just told you it's an entire stage centered around her. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Begin. I don't know. Look, right off the bat, I want to be very clear, as I have made clear on my Instagram stories many times before. I am an acquired taste. I get that. I'm like Brussels sprouts. When you're a kid, you're like, ooh, what are these like little cabbages? Disgusting. When you're older.
So she's spending the first 1 minute and 30 seconds talking about A, how she's attacked, B, how she's not everybody's taste, da 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 da. Have you lost a lot of followers? Are you pandering to your community? I don't know. Everybody in the community, how's she, you know, she's got a team. She's got a team. Is anybody reaching out to you? Does anybody really care? Are you just funneling your money to her? I don't know. These are all viable questions, are they not? I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to do an investigative piece on you, my lady. I don't have time for it. I simply do not have time for it. Does anyone else want to do one? Stop this madness, my lady. You can turn this around and you can course correct.
You're like, can I get them fried with balsamic vinaigrette? That's me. People don't like me instantly. And so I by no means
and I understand
expect for you to watch today's episode and take away from it that everybody who makes an anti or negative Candace Owens video is somehow funded. That would be ridiculous. Hating Candace Owens is the oldest hate in the world. It's a hate that.
Wow, that's even more hubris. I'd be rather likely to believe the fact that maybe they were paid, but she believes that, you know, people are so enthralled with her that, you know, she just continuously lives rent free in people's minds. I'm not sure how to take what you're saying, Candace. And I'll remind everyone, yes, I have followed her for over a year. I watched every single bit of her content. In fact, I learned a lot about content creation through various content creators. So have I turned on Queen Candace? No, I haven't turned on you. I'm holding you accountable, just like you want to hold other people accountable. Are you listening? Or are you just listening to the people that you need to teach? You say it in almost every one of your videos. Oh, I don't normally keep secrets, but you do. You say it in almost every. I'm going to put a compilation together of how many times that you have said that you don't normally withhold information from your viewers. I already said, let's watch this compilation that I just did. This is mine. I did it and I'm going to do it again. So yes, I will. I mean, I'm a one-man band here, you know, me and my good Lord King husband, but I will put it together because you know what? Keep talking, Candace. Keep dividing, Candace. Give me a moment. I got some technical difficulties here. Why won't it play? Oh, duh. I'm doing a share screen. Duh, 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 duh. Oh, I already removed the video file. No worries. I got it again. I mean, she says it out of her own mouth. She says it out of her own mouth. She's going to take us to church. She's
being
going to
married
teach
to
us.
me. My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like, what are you reading? And I feel a couple of weeks ago, I received a letter that changed my life, certainly changed the course of my life in politics.
I will say it is not my style, but I have been keeping a major secret from you all.
So how many, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through every one of her videos where she says she's been keeping secrets from people. She doesn't normally do that yet. Every time you come on live, you're saying a secret that you've kept. And this anonymous person. So President Trump, I mean, I might be looking through my top command to see who is feeding Candace Owens information, right? If that's truly happening, you know, this ripple effect all the way around is just ludicrous. Anonymous sources point out how Candace often references anonymous sources that never come forward and why that might be a concern. We talked about the USS Liberty donation, double standards on accountability. So let's talk about how Candace critiques women. So I did download a video and I haven't really watched much of it, but I've seen her in action and I'm going to find where she said all these things I said she said.
have an impact on her future romantic prospects? And if so, how and why? I can repeat it. That was a lot, so let me know if you need me to repeat anything.
I talk about this extensively on my show. I mean,
and let me ask you this question, YouTube. This is for you, YouTube. And this is one of the first things I started noticing. And if you're a content creator, let me know if you've noticed this as well. So they can say words like porn and kill and murder and all that stuff. And you guys, if you haven't checked out August the Duck, you got to go check out his latest drop from a day or two ago, where there is actually that on YouTube. They just call it clean nakedness or something. Like, I'm not even sure. So anyway, you know, she's going off on this rant, but they're allowed to say all those words that we're supposedly not allowed. We have to bleep out and all. What is that? What, are they in some kind of special tier algorithm? You know, is it truly a pay to play game? I mean, it is a pay to play game, because I know what we pay just to do what we're doing right now, right? Man, let's keep going. This woman is insane.
Really, a form of wanting to be in a relationship is feeling that there's a mystery to a woman, that there's something that's yours, there's something that's sacred, there's something that's powerful and beautiful that just you share. And when they...
What are your thoughts on...
Influencers. All right.
What are your thoughts?
So she is completely right about that oneness of marriage, you know, because, and Rusty and I talk about this all the time, that I would never want to share him with anyone else. I would never, I hope I'm not echoey, y'all. I feel like I'm echoing. Anyway, I would never want to share him with anyone. Never. And we do leave pieces of ourselves behind, right? And man, I don't even know, but man, let's just
Actually, if you're young, you're on a very tight rope. As you get older, your value goes down, and men are going to want women that are younger and available to them. I'm talking about in terms of just making the person who will subscribe to your OnlyFans page. You know, obviously, women, you're declining as you age. And the truth is that high value men don't want to date women that are sex workers, or even women that aren't sex workers.
So forgive me, Miss Owens. Forgive me once again. So you said you love that clip of Andrew Tate because he doesn't care. I mean, why? Look, we're going to bring Mary Beth. You know, she is ChatGPT, so you cannot take what she says as the Holy Grail. Please do not do that. I did do a piece on people worshiping their artificial intelligence. And I recently came across a series called His Dark Materials that I can kind of see why people are thinking that way a little bit. It was a great series. I will give you that, and especially for those of you that have read your Bible and know how it happened chronologically and explore other faiths. So it was a pretty wild series. So I left it conflicted and my head shaking. I know where my faith lies, but it was pretty wild. And I do want to do some research to find out, you know, because there was a lot of creativity into it and you could see a lot of reference also. So Mary Beth, why don't you tell people about Andrew Tate? Who is Andrew Tate, and how have Andrew Tate and Candace Owens worked together in the past?
Andrew Tate is a former kickboxing champion who's become quite a controversial internet personality. He's known for his outspoken views on various social and political issues, and he's definitely stirred up a lot of debate. As for his connection with Candace Owens, they've both shared platforms and sometimes aligned on certain conservative viewpoints, especially around topics like feminism, traditional values, and some aspects of modern culture. So they've definitely crossed paths in the media landscape.
Okay, you can stop. Blah, 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 blah. So recently, you know, here's my thing. So Candace Owens made a statement, and let's just go to her video. That's just the best thing to do. Let's go to her video. Yeah, happy. Let me cut this out. All right, guys. So I'm going to run on over here and we're going to find Candace Owens and defends Andrew Tate. And I remember her statement, and I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, my memory sometimes. Not to say that it can't be distorted sometimes, but, you know, she said, oh, something was just off about this case. What do you mean something was off? What caused you to look into it to begin with if you are the defender of women and trying to discourage them from being involved in OnlyFans? So is there any connection with Andrew Tate and OnlyFans page models?
Andrew Tate has definitely spoken about platforms like OnlyFans before. He has at times mentioned that he sees it as a business opportunity for some people, and he's talked about women who use it and how they can capitalize on it. But he's also been pretty critical about the impact of these platforms on society.
No, you can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. You can't say that it's wrong and then tell people that it's right because it can earn you money. And I will remind you, don't get it twisted. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money, the love of it, the idolatry of it. So, wow. I mean, that's a lot right there. To me, and I don't know what you guys will get out of this. I don't even have the energy to get into Elon Musk. You guys, please stay tuned because I am going to be doing a piece on Bill Gates and his fruit produce covering appeal. And we'll also be talking about past companies all the way back to 2014 that he has started. I keep saying, you guys, please, it's all in the name. What was that? Impossible Meats? I mean, would you want to eat anything called Impossible Meats? What does that even mean? What do you mean, Impossible Meats? That's the company name. And then what are some other ones? Do you remember? I got my paper right here, y'all. Look, I got my notes ready. So I've been scripting out lately. I want to be prepared for y'all, not waste your time. So we've got Impossible Foods, Memphis Meats, Appeal Sciences, Beyond Meat, and other all-protein startups. Beyond Meat. Good gravy. All right, guys. Get your gravy mixed up. You guys, thank you for joining me. My name is Regina Connell. That's all I got today, y'all. You are more than welcome to run on over to the page of Candace Owens. Check her out. And like I said, we can agree where we agree. And I cannot support you, Candace Owens. I can no longer support you. And Elon Musk, man, you're teetering on that borderline. Our president is our president. What do you mean start a new party? We don't form parties, we throw them. All right, guys, we will see you on the flip-flop. Thanks for watching. And I don't even know if I'm ready to go out yet. Oh, yes, I am. All right. See y'all on the flip-flop.
To the rivers wide, tune in, it's time to take the ride. Regina's voice, it's your guide. West Virginia's heart, it's right inside. West Virginia, why hear the news? Politics and stories.